Hey everybody, super excited to be here with you today. So I'm in Orlando actually for an HR conference for work, but I didn't want to miss the opportunity to chat with you about our topic today. This one really resonates with me and actually have had a couple clients. We've talked about it in their coaching. And so the topic today is this inner critic versus inner coach. So I like this idea because it recognizes that we have a voice in our head. We have a voice or kind of a thought pattern that is commonly there when we think about that inner critic and what it can really do to our weight loss journey. So what I'm going to do today is talk to you a little bit about the inner critic. What does it look like? I hope it's something that resonates with you. And then I want to teach you the concept of an inner coach and why I think this is super important to your journey and why I have really embraced this in my thoughts. So when we think of the inner critic, what we're really talking about is that person who is a lot of times giving us like those negative thoughts. It's the person in our head who's criticizing, judging, creating self-doubt in us. A lot of times we will have that pursuit of perfectionism. This is really common in women, whether you're a mother or not. I think it's just something that we think about, like how people see us. I think it's a societal expectation to some extent. We put it on ourselves, but it's something that's really consistent in our thought patterns. And things that really can trigger some of these are when we're not perfect, when we make a commitment or a promise to ourselves or to others, we don't follow through. So like if you start a new diet and you feel like you didn't do well that day, or you gave into your cravings, and then you kind of have that shame and guilt cycle. I have that. So, really something that resonates with me. And so it's that voice that's in your head and it's telling you that you're not good enough. See, this is why it doesn't work. This is why we're never going to lose weight. It kind of is the voice that maybe tells us to give up or to, really shames us and makes us feel guilty for, not being perfect or not, meeting our own expectations or potentially others. It can create self-doubt. So a lot of times it can be kind of those thoughts that are telling you not to take the risk, not to make the change, not to invest or, go all in on yourself. It's that negative self-talk. It's that voice that's just telling you over and over and over again, you're not worthy, you're not good enough. This is never going to work. It's always going to be this way. Just accept it. Take the easy way out. And when you think about that negative self-talk, it's pulling you down, right? It's negative for a reason. It's making you not believe in yourself, and really just in a sense, like you're willing to accept some of those things. And it's just a drain. I have a client, and she, even prior to working with me, named that voice the bitch. And I love that. Like, it's like a friend, but it really isn't a friend that's doing all this in your head, and you've identified her and you've given her identity. And our goal then is to minimize her, to have her go away in our head. It's when we see her coming about, we then, create positive thoughts and change that thinking. So that's what I want to talk to you about today. So that's what the inner critic is, the bitch. And then my goal in the rest of the time today is to give you some ideas on how do we shape our thoughts with a new person in our mind, which is our best self, the person that we're aspiring to be, our future self that we want her to be. And recognize you get to control those thoughts. You get to control when you notice the bitch is saying something, they say, no, I am working on this, or I don't need to be perfect, or those are unrealistic expectations, or I'm going to give myself grace. Because when we allow that inner critic or the bitch, it impacts our mental health. It impacts our self-esteem. It impacts our overall well-being, because that self-criticism contributes to stress, anxiety, and ultimately physical health issues. And I know for me, it contributes to my struggle with my weight, because then I'm not necessarily dealing with my emotions. I am seeking this whole idea of less pain, more pleasure. And so I don't work through my emotional feelings, or I'm super hard on myself when things don't go as expected. And then ultimately kind of leads to this spiral. So when we want to cultivate this idea of an inner coach, so an inner coach is someone who encourages you, supports you, nurtures you. And what this coach is thinking about working with me as your coach. Let's say I'm going to teach you then how to have an inner coach. And so that you are changing and reshaping your thoughts. When the critic pops up, that coach steps in and says, no, I don't believe that about myself. Here's what I believe. Here's how I feel. And this is a choice that I'm making. And so it helps with increasing your self-confidence, your motivation, and ultimately your resiliency as you think about life in general, much less, your journey in your weight loss and health goals. And so through that, we practice self-compassion, positive affirmations, and then really setting the realistic goal that allows to set us up to be successful. And we talk about the importance of self-care and self-kindness, that coach is nurturing you because no one's perfect and we don't expect you to be. And you're letting go of the critic and you're using this coach to overpower that voice in your head. I'm going to do that in a compassionate way. And so we silence that critic in a way where your brain over time is rewired and changes, and that critic becomes quieter. And we have tactics to help lessen her voice. And we practice that self-compassion with different thoughts, different activities, and different experiences. And over time, then you start to change that wiring. You'll learn how to use kind of this obstacle and strategy that I've talked about before. You'll give yourself your own advice. And it will almost be like an interactive, engaging conversation. If you've watched any of my videos in the past, you'll notice I've caught myself like my brain telling me, yes, go have a chai tea, right? You deserve that. You deserve this because you've had a tough day. And I don't like those thoughts. Like that is compassion, but it is my brain kind of getting me to go and, eat something or consume something that maybe isn't on my protocol. And so I've reshaped my brain there. You can do that with the inner critic and this inner coach as well. And so my advice to you is start to catch that when you notice that your brain is being critical and is wanting to pull you down and how that negativity swirls. Because a lot of times the feelings that we have are usually feelings that, we can control, we can change. And they're really driven by thoughts. And so when you start to notice those thoughts about yourself, being critical, I'm not good enough, I screwed up again, I'm not worthy, no one loves me, whatever those things are for you, I want you to take a moment and recognize that those aren't true. You change those thoughts. You get to control those thoughts. And what can you do about it to change them? And then bring that coach in and say, hey, right, I'm going to do better. I'm going to start to talk to myself with compassion and love. How would I speak to a friend? How do I want to show up for myself every single day? Because when I do that, I show up better for everybody else. And I would love to talk with you further about this. So if you have any questions about this, want to learn, I have if this pertains to like your body confidence, I have a body confidence guide. I have a mantra guide that I'm working on. So if there's anything that will help you in this journey yourself, feel free to reach out. I'd love to share those with you. And then this is a big part of the program that I teach my clients in the 16-week one-on-one program. So I'd love to share a little bit more with you about that program and help you understand how this can really help change your life. Let's make 2024 the year for you. I have embraced 2023 and been so proud of the progress I've made in regards to my weight loss, which inspired me to start to coach and offer this program for clients. But there is so much more that's available here to you to learn. And I would love to help support you in that journey and teach you what I've learned along the way. So hope you have a great day. Thanks again for joining. I hope there wasn't any technical difficulties in the broadcasting today, just given that I was in the hotel and sometimes the Wi-Fi is off. So thanks for your patience with me.